if you haven't met him already. This is my lovely Chihuahua, and we'll tell you our story. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kendall Mom, and today I am trying something really new, and I'm kind of scared to do it, so bear with me right now. I wanted to do a talk with you guys because I feel like I haven't really gotten on a personal level with you, and I think it is time for me to start doing that. I love all of you guys so much. I thought it was time that I share a little bit about myself with you guys. As you all know, Duke is in pretty much every single one of my videos. He's in all of my pictures. He pretty much is a safety blanket to me. And I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about Duke and my story with Duke and why Duke means so much to me. And I know animals mean a lot to a lot of people, and they really are a man's best friend. But Duke saved me in a time, he's sneezing right now, he's not taking this seriously, and I'm trying to take this seriously. But Duke came into my life a little bit over 2 years ago. We just celebrated his 2 years of being with my family, October 17th, if I am correct. I found Duke in a time when I felt really lost, and I felt like I needed to find myself, and I didn't know how to do that. I was in a period of grieving, and I didn't know how to get through it. So when I found Duke, it was almost like a message from God to me saying, like, this is what you need, or like, it was like my path that I was supposed to be taking. So to reverse on why I was grieving, I lost my grandma 2 years ago, and my grandma was literally my second parent, basically. So she was a role model to me. She basically raised me along with my parents. She was the matriarch of my family, and she was a very powerful woman, and I respected and loved her so, so very much. As a little kid, my mom and I and dad would go over to my grandparents' house pretty much every single day, literally until the day she passed away. So I saw my grandma pretty much every single day, so I saw her about as much as I saw my parents. And then when I was in 6th grade, we ended up moving in with my grandma to take care of her because she ended up getting Alzheimer's, and she just needed to live with someone. She was very lonely, and my grandpa died when I was 2 years old, so we saw her every day, but it still wasn't enough. It wasn't fulfilling her, and we wanted to bring that into her last years of living. So we ended up moving in here when I was in 6th grade, and we moved into her 700 square foot house, and we added on 1,600 square feet, which I got an amazing room out of it, and I got 2 closets, and my grandma was literally walking down the stairs and into her house. So it was really cool because she had her house, we had our house, but I still saw her every single day. I polished her nails once a week, and we had dinner together every single night, and it was just really nice to have her so close to me. And she was just, I can't even explain how big of a role model she was. She taught me how to draw. She taught me how to be open and friendly with people. She taught me how to love everybody and to give people second chances. She taught me how to cook. I learned how to flip tortillas and to make fried chicken. She was the best cook ever. So just to give you a little story on that, my grandma was a major, 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 major part of my life for 20 years, and it was really hard for me because she passed away in July of 2015, which was right before I graduated college, and I always thought she would be there for me for that, or be at my wedding, so it was really hard for me to know that she isn't going to be there for all that. I know she's in spirit, but she ended up living until 92 years old, a great 92, so she had a long, long life. Back to Duke, on a side note, it was after she passed away, it was really, really hard for my family and I because we were her caregivers, and she ended up getting hospice care, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically where you can live out your days feeling comfortable in your own home instead of being in a nursing home or in a hospital or anything like that. So during the time of those last couple weeks, which were really, really hard on her and my family, she wasn't really herself anymore, but she still always remembered my parents and I, which is a really great thing because having Alzheimer's, you usually lose your memory and you forget the people that are closest to you, but for some reason, somehow she held on to remember my parents and I. I was always the baby. She always called me the baby, and every day I'd walk in and I'd find something that I could make her happy with. So while she's in pain, I could bring some life to her because she always brought life to me. So I would show her pictures of Chihuahuas every single day, and we always promised each other that we would get a Chihuahua together. And we always had dogs around. We've always had 2 to 4 at a time, which was kind of crazy. So as I showed her pictures of Chihuahuas, she told me that I needed to get one. So I always held that into my heart that we would get a Chihuahua together. So back into the future tense of where I'm going with this story. After she passed away, we were visiting her gravesite one day, and we try to put flowers on her grave every month, and it was this specifically time, it was the first time we visited her grave since her funeral. I thought it would be really hard for me to see her like a stone of her name and not actually be able to touch or feel her, but it was kind of a relief to know she was there and I could go visit her and still talk to her and have a place to grieve. But being back there for the first time, I'm sure you can imagine it was, I don't even know how to explain the feeling. It was just a really weird feeling. Like, it was a very surreal feeling to just finally have to face the fact that she wasn't here. I kind of pretended she was just away, or I wouldn't visit her house for a while and just pretend she was still in there, and we'd leave the TV on and have I Love Lucy on, and it still made me feel like she was there. So to face the reality of her not being there anymore was really tough. And after that, we left, we, you know, gave her flowers and things like that, and we ended up going to the mall because my mom needed a new bed desperately. My mom and I ended up going to the mall. We weren't in the mood really to look for a bed, but we ended up going anyway. And on our way out of the mall, after we bought her bed, we walked by the Shelter of Hope pet shop, which was a rescue pet shop. And in the window, as we were walking out, it caught my eye. I was looking at my phone like I normally do, or like not paying attention. And I looked in the window, and Duke was literally sitting in the window staring at me. And all the other dogs were playing. None of the dogs were paying attention. The people weren't paying attention, and he was literally just sitting there. And I, like, for some reason, I pulled my eyes up and I saw him, and I was like, oh my God, that's the cutest dog, and it's a Chihuahua, and he's amazing. So I literally pulled my mom, I grabbed her, and I was like, I need to go in there. And she's like, we don't need a dog. And I was like, I just need to go in there. I just have to go in there. Like, if I just touch him, I need to see him. So I walked in there, and the people and I ended up starting to talk, the volunteers and I. They let me hold Duke, and he was about a year old when I found him. His name was Dave, you guys. His name was Dave. He was a year old. He looked like a grumpy Chihuahua, and they were like, do you want to hold him? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, if you want, you can foster him for the night. It wasn't as easy as that. I had to go through paperwork, and they had to interview me and blah, 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 blah. But basically, they let me take him home for the night, and my mom was like, okay, you can foster him. We take him back tomorrow. So, of course, I fostered him. He helped me through that night because it was nice to have something to focus on. And the next day, I went to take him back, and I was like, someone tried to grab him from me. And I'm an only child, you guys, so once something's mine, it's mine forever, and it's locked into my arms. And they tried to take Duke, or Dave, and I literally couldn't let go. And I, like, knew that he was my dog from that moment on. And I just was like, I have to keep this dog. I have to keep this dog. Oh, but on another side note, which I didn't tell you, I don't know if you guys believe in, like, spirits and ghosts and things like that. You can believe whatever you want. I'm not trying to make you believe anything or whatever, but this is just my experience. Duke's literally sitting in the window. But I brought Duke home the first night. He's never been to my house, obviously. We get out of the car, I open the door, and he runs straight to my grandma's rocking chair, which is on the other side of the house. He had to go through the door, the kitchen, the other kitchen, the living room, and then over to the corner of the living room. And he jumped on my grandma's rocking chair, and he sat there. So I was like, whoa, that's weird. He's never been in my house, and he went straight to my grandma. So in my eyes, it's a way of, like, my grandma is telling me that, like, I'm here, and this is the right path, and this is basically me being there for you is through this dog, is what I got the message through this. And I feel like it was, you know, just what I was supposed to believe in at that moment. So I ended up taking him back the next day, signing the papers. I rescued Duke the next day, and he became my dog, and he's been the best thing that has ever happened to me in that moment of time. That moment of time, like, not only did I lose my grandma, but a really bad breakup, and I ended up getting out of a 2.5-year relationship, and it was just all this, everything happening at once just hit me like a ton of bricks. I got in trouble at school. And it was literally just a whirlwind of a summer, and it was very hard for me to grasp. So finding Duke finally made me feel like, okay, I'm supposed to take care of him, and I'm supposed to find my way slowly again. I named Duke. After you hear the name Dave, you think of like a 50-year-old man. No offense to any Daves out there. But Duke, I named Duke because my grandma was obsessed with John Wayne. Most people know who John Wayne is, but he's a very famous cowboy. He was an actor and a singer, and my grandma absolutely loved this guy. If she could have married him, she would have married him in a heartbeat. She had a clock of him, she had pictures of him, she had a safety pin of him. She was a cowgirl, so she grew up on horses and on a farm, so for her that was like her role model, and that's why Duke became Duke. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit more of a time in my life when I feel like I just really needed something that I needed to focus on, and Duke became my whole world, and he still is. I have been through so much with this dog already, and I truly believe that if you have someone in your life, it could be a person or a pet, it could be an iguana, a snake, it could be a spider, it could be a dog, a cat, anything that there is, but I just think having that special connection with something is such a powerful thing, because they love you unconditionally, and they will love you forever no matter what you do wrong, no matter how lost you are, or whatever type of place you're in at that moment, they will always be there for you. So I've grown up with animals my entire life, but Duke is probably the one animal in my life that I have extreme connection to, and I think about my grandma every single day because of Duke, and I have to thank God and my grandma for bringing him to me, because I truly believe that they had something to do with this, because I got through a very, very, very hard time in my life, and I'm finally starting to feel like myself again, and I'm able to talk about it. It's taken me over 2 years to be able to fully explain this, and to do this on camera is very, very, very powerful for me, and I just thought it is time for me to start something new, and I think sharing my story with you, I'm hoping, can help you realize that no matter how hard something is in your life in that moment, you will get through it, and you will tough it out, and no matter what happens, it is a day, and a new day will come, and a new year will come, and a new chapter in your life will start, and it's easier to get over it when you have something else to look forward to. So I think always keep your one foot forward and don't go backwards. Don't ever go backwards, because it doesn't do you any good. Remember the memories. I always hold my grandma in my heart. I think about her all the time. I bring her up all the time. I called her Nanny. She was my nanny, and I love her to death. And yeah, just to end this, my mom wrote a poem, and her way of grieving with my grandma and the loss of her mom was to write poems and to publish them, and it was for herself only, and but she related to a lot of people, and I never did anything like that. I always kind of just stopped talking about it or talk to her about it or look at pictures, but I think this is in a way my way of grieving, even though it's two and a half years later. But I think that by me sharing this with you guys is just a good start for me. So I'm hoping that this connects with you as well, and I appreciate you guys listening to me. So to end this video, I will read you the poem my mom wrote about Duke and I. As she looked through that large window, she knew he was the one to help get life back again, the one who brought love into her heart, the one who gave her a reason to wake up and start fresh each day, the one who loves her unconditionally and wholeheartedly. You may be small and walk on 4 legs and not speak a word, but the large magnitude of joy is something you brought to her. The love once lost is now replaced. The love that once died is now renewed. Thanks for being in that window. So I have kept that in my heart forever, and I always will. And Duke holds a special, special place in my heart, and I hope that helps you understand why Duke is pretty much always in every single one of my videos. So thank you for letting me start a new open chapter with you guys and to start these type of talks. Let me know if you like this. This is so new for me, so all the feedback that you have would be amazing, and I truly, truly will appreciate it. And I love you guys, and please subscribe, like, comment. Mostly comment, because I'd love to hear what you guys think, and I will see you next time.